Welcome to our 2024 UL Research Institute's Video Impact Report. I'm here today with Dr. Nick Judd, who's a lead research engineer for our Digital Safety Research Institute, or DSRI. So Nick, I'd love to hear more about the work DSRI is doing, particularly this partnership with the Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence, or AI2. What can you tell us about that?
So AI2 is a leader in the field of artificial intelligence, and one of the things that they're doing is working on building large language models in a way that's open and transparent so other people can understand how these large language models work. Something that we're doing is working with them to assess the privacy and security of models as they're building them. One of the key risks with a large language model is it might repeat word for word something that was in the data that was used to build the model. This can include things like phone numbers or email addresses, or even something like a password that a computer uses to talk to another computer. We call that an API key, and that's a really sensitive piece of information if you're writing software. We worked with AI2 to measure the risk that an unsuspecting user or a malicious person who really wanted to find this kind of password or email address, the risk that they might get access to that information when they shouldn't. What we found was, as AI2 took steps to make the system more secure and safer, that kind of risk for the unintentional user got better, but the risk in the case of a malicious attacker got worse.
Wow, so really building some of the security features as the tools are being built, but there are also tools that are already out there. So how do you go in when those risks are there and work to mitigate them, and tools that are actually already deployed?
One of the other things that we did with AI2 was we brought them to a conference called DEF CON, which is a major cybersecurity conference. We worked with the information security professionals there, the hackers, to figure out how we could set up something similar to what's called a bug bounty program in cybersecurity. So this is a way in which you make sure that good guys find flaws in a system before the bad guys do. We found that when AI2 was able to put out plain language statements about how a system should behave, for instance, this system will refuse to answer requests for information about how to commit cybercrime or information about chemical weapons about 80% of the time. One of the hackers at DEF CON who was participating in our competition was able to get the system to respond to requests for information about cybercrime way more often than AI2 was able to update that claim. So this is an example of how something like a bug bounty, which is really important in cybersecurity today, could serve a similar purpose for large language models tomorrow.
How are you getting the work that you're doing out into the world for the average consumer to read about?
What we're hearing as we're doing this work and building these collaborations is that we're building bridges between AI developers and the subject matter experts who can help them build models that have the kinds of safeguards that they need for kind of regular everyday use.
I'm really glad you're doing this work. Safety at the human-digital interface, that's our third grand challenge. You can read more about that at ul.org, as well as learn about all the work that DSRI is doing to keep us safe. And while you're there, check out the other segments of our impact report, where you can hear about what each of our institutes and offices is doing every day to make the world safer for all of us.